Previously on Keeping Up with the Romanovs, Peter the Great moves the capital of the Russian Empire to St. Petersburg.
I will create a new face for Russia and make it the most sophisticated country in all of Europe.
Your Majesty, you can't just take borderlands because they don't belong to you. Is this even legal?
Don't be so fucking rude! How dare you try and tell me what I can and cannot do? Last time I checked, we don't have a constitution. Do you have any complaints?
I came here to get my land back. I'd have a great time, but I honestly feel so attacked right now. Okay.
After talking with the boyars regarding his policies, Ivan IV fell into a fit of rage, in which he killed his only son and heir to the Russian throne.
Well, it really be like that sometimes.
Ivan IV's insanity and murder of his son led to the end of the Rurik dynasty of the Russian Empire, and a period of instability known as the Time of Troubles followed. Out of the ashes of the Rurikids rose a new family to lead the Russian people, the Romanovs.
The aristocrats have been telling me that they want a strong ruler, someone who is willing to do whatever it takes, and quite frankly, you're not any of those things. Isn't that right?
I think I am.
Okay guys, story time. So I've been planning to kill my sorry excuse for a husband for a while now. He totally doesn't see it coming. You can't even speak Russian. How are you supposed to lead the Russian Empire? Peter, what are you doing? You know what? If you can say "Ya plokoi Tsar," then you can stay Tsar.
Yeah, plokoi Tsar.
I'm glad that you finally admitted that you're a bad Tsar. Take him away. You can do whatever you want with your serfs.
Let's go, coach.
After supporting the assassination of her husband, Catherine became the Empress of the Russian Empire, and took the title of Catherine the Great. She had a very active social life and a lot of lovers. Under her leadership, Russia expanded and serfs were treated very cruelly. Her treatment of serfs led to a very unfortunate moment that will forever be remembered as one of Catherine's biggest blunders.
Oh my god, is that a serf? Wait, what is that?
The Russians lost the Crimean War against the great powers of Western Europe and the Ottoman Empire because of their lack of industrialization. Tsar Alexander II noticed that in order to compete with Europe, Russia must modernize and reform. For several years he is successful, but eventually these reforms are not enough to pacify the general population.
So, I know that we require serfs for labor, but abolishing it is the first thing that we have to do to become more powerful in France or Britain. We're embarrassing Crimea. And to be able to dominate the Black Sea, that's just what we have to do.
Who's to work the estates? Who's to work the mines? Serf labor is the backbone of this empire. You just can't abolish it.
Then how do you suggest we do this?
We tell them they're free, but really we're enslaving them by giving them poor land and making them pay for it.
In 1861, Alexander II freed the serfs. The aristocrats kept the best plots of land, while the serfs were given the majority of the poor agriculture land, and were heavily taxed by the aristocracy. In reality, the life of the serf did not improve. If anything, they suffered more. This led to discontent among the peasantry, and they became more open to revolt and dissent against the Tsar's authority.
I don't understand. I have made so many changes to these reforms in Russia. The people don't appreciate it. The anarchists come at us with bombs.
It might not be a matter of reforms. They might just want more freedom.
What? I have given the people better education, more food, and better jobs. What more do they expect? They just don't appreciate it. They're so ungrateful. You know, they'll regret complaining about the government. I have to fight the peasants, and the only way I know how. Take away their rights.
Alexander II stopped issuing political reforms, censored newspapers, prohibited political meetings, and sent dissidents to prisons in Siberia. These actions only angered the peasantry and radicals even more, and Alexander II was killed in a terrorist bombing. Nicholas II was the last Tsar of Russia, because peasant revolts became more frequent due to his autocratic ways. He is known as a weak leader because of his lack of resolve regarding in reforms, and his reliance on aristocrat advisors, which influenced him for their own benefit, causing further decline of the Russian Empire.
Who do these peasants think they are revolting against me? What should their punishment be?
Show them what the true power of the Russian military is.
Yes, it's the only way to keep those gods in order. Tell the royal guard to eliminate any unwanted guest.
Yes, Your Highness.
This was known as Bloody Sunday in 1905, and despite this military retaliation, Nicholas II was forced into allowing more freedom in the government. Early in the reign of Nicholas II, a wandering mystic entered the royal court and gained the support of the Tsarina Alexandra, as he claimed to be able to cure Alexei's hemophilia. Rasputin became very influential in the Russian court as Nicholas II took control of the Red Army in World War I. Tsarina Alexandra confided in Rasputin as her main advisor, as she took control of the domestic rule of the Russian Empire. To the discontent of the aristocracy, Rasputin began to abuse the power of his position, and spoke badly of the Romanov rule.
The Romanovs are weak. I've seduced the Tsarina. I control her, therefore I control all of Russia!
Rasputin's actions angered the Russian aristocrats, and they attempted to kill him for exercising influence over the empire. It took much effort to kill Rasputin. He was poisoned, shot, and then thrown into a river. However, there are doubts if Rasputin was really killed by the aristocrats. To the Tsar's dismay, the 1905 revolution was not the last revolution. Nicholas II and his advisors gradually began to pull the powers of this new makeshift government. The peasants were not happy with this action, and eventually a new person began to win the support of the people.
We have revolted once in the past. One more revolution will topple the Tsar and the Empire. The Russian people will bask in the glories of communism under the Bolsheviks. Rise up, my brothers. Down with the Tsar. Down with the bourgeois.
Lenin would be exiled to Switzerland, but he continued to support the communist cause in exile. He would later usher in a new era in the history of Russia.
I'm ready to lead a new communist Russia in which everyone will be equal. The Tsar has no idea what's coming for him.
The February Revolution of 1917 forced Nicholas II to relinquish his title of Tsar of Russia. Russia had pulled out of World War I, but a new movement would threaten the lives of the former royal family.
What is this I hear of the Bolsheviks?
I heard they're planning on executing us. That's why I'm sewing diamonds into my clothes. You can't die if you're wearing diamonds.
Stupid bitch. The Bolsheviks aren't gonna care what you're wearing. They're gonna shoot you anyways. However, I want to look good if I'm gonna get shot. Pass me those diamonds.
She's sewing them into her clothes so that the bullet spouts off, not so that she looks good. No, I think it's a little bit of both.
They're not very bright.
Open the f*** up! The Bolsheviks are coming higher. I don't want to die!
This is the final moment of the Romanov family. Their absolute monarchy will be replaced by a new communist government. On July 16th, 1918, they were stabbed, beaten, and shot to death. They held their last embrace in the royal palace as they were all taken away, killed and disposed in a forest near the estate. The execution of the Romanovs marked the start of the communist era in Russia. Next, on Keeping Up with the Communists, Lenin leaves Switzerland to be the leader of the newly formed USSR. He would later be replaced by Joseph Stalin.
That was too fake. You didn't even drink. You need to look at the
She's really.
Dad, come here, children. What? You thought you left before me?
Just been tossing this back and forth.
We've been trying.
Right. Wow, that makes sense.
I started by accident filming Joseph's butt. Did you get all of that?
She's still rolling, I think.
You to get rid of that recording?
I just started.
Okay. Let me do it again. I told you to get rid of that recording.
But
Broke it.
Well, I did.
When did the Japanese come? You're like, how am I supposed to die?
As soon as I Bolsheviks.
How am I supposed to die? Stop it.
Natalia, say how you feel about this movie.
Oh, we should have like stuff.
Give me 100
Oh
likes.
shoot, I only have to say two.